Good morning. I'm Catherine Larkham from Mystic Soul, the author of Art Therapy for Mystic Soul, the book series, 7-book series and workshop series for healing and clearing through prayer. It's an interfaith practice and through art, healing through art, and also metaphysical science, energy healing, where we teach energy healing for self-care. This morning I'm talking about meditation and the effects and my experience with my practice. I do various forms of meditation, but this morning I'm going to talk about the Zen practice of meditation, where we silence our mind, we let all thoughts go, and we focus on our breath. There's the various forms of meditation that I do. Also, the guided meditations is a focus on a thought and images. With this practice, we want to clear everything from our mind. No thought is our aim with the Zen practice and the breath meditation. And my experience with this is the healing that takes place, and I want to talk about the benefits of the practice and how I've experienced that. Doing this practice, quieting the mind, we breathe. Breath is spirit, ruah. It's a part of the soul that animates the body. Our breath brings us into our soul, our spirit. It's the pathway in. When we're born, we receive this breath of life. This is spirit coming into us, and this is our way to go back inside to spirit. Focusing on the breath leads us inward. And the reason we want to go inward is because the world is actually a projection, an illusion, as they say. So the condition on our inside determines how we see our world, what we project on the outside. And we spend a lot of time outside in the world focusing on our job, our work, our home, and everything. And we tend to stay too much out there. We can become imbalanced, and our perception can shift, and things can get in place that really aren't for our highest good. So going within helps to center us again and to clear all of its faults. In this process of focusing on our breath and clearing our mind of all the thoughts that come in, we're going inward and inward and inward. And we're going into what is real, what is true, and we're tapping in. We're using our right brain, and we're tapping into higher consciousness. And this is the universal, the higher mind. There's many universal consciousness, our higher self, our collective consciousness, the higher thought. And this is where everything is one, all. In the tree of life, the Kabbalah, this would be going into the Sphirot, and the Sphira of Chokmah. And this is where all, everything that can be manifested is. It's like the whole cosmic soup of everything that possibly can be created. Everything is there. And so when we meditate and on focusing on our breath, we're going into this place. And here are all the archetypes for all of personalities, or all roles that we play, and all of everything that can manifest, the whole creative bunch. So we're blazing our way back in there and tapping into higher consciousness. So from this, we're going through a cognitive process to get there, because as we're silencing our mind, things pop up, and wherever there's disturbances in things that aren't true, in our outside world, in the world we live in, things that cause interference and bad feelings within us, we work through these by going within. We may go in and have a problem on our mind, and as we silence ourselves and detach from everything and go in, all of a sudden we are fed the solution to our problem. And it may not come while we're in this silence, but when we come out of the meditation, it may, during the course of the day, the solution to our problem will pop up, or something that our body needs for healing, or we'll connect with the right person for healing. Just going into spirit and higher consciousness, and it's a process. It's a practice, a daily practice. If you're 15-20 minutes a day, you may extend your practice longer, but this blazes the way to higher consciousness and where we can tap into all of this, everything that is. And so solutions just come to us. And we may not know how we know this, but this is where we get it. This information just comes to us. All the archetypes are there. And so this is the right brain, our creative self. So we're tapping, as we tap into this, creativity can flow, and artists often tap into this in their creative process because they're very right-brained. And in the process of creating art and using our imagination, which comes from here, many artists become very spiritual because they're used to tapping into this place. And the left brain is our ego self, and it can be the lower mind and with a small m, and this side can be the higher mind. So we're always working our higher mind to heal our lower mind, to heal our ego. And as we heal our ego, we increase this presence. And we project a different image of the world. We see a different world. As we heal, we start to see beauty awakens in the world. We can be looking at something that is very mundane, and before we didn't see beauty. Now all of a sudden we see this as being very beautiful. It's this healed perception. Our perception becomes corrected, and we look at situations differently. We are in touch with our heart, our soul, our spirit, and we start to have more patience with people. And in this practice, we learn to, whenever there's something troubling us, we start going within, silencing our mind, and then waiting for healing solutions to come. And this is cognitive awareness. It's teaching us to be aware of our thinking, aware of what we feed ourselves during the day, mentally, our mental thought, the mind chatter that goes on during the day. In this process, you become very aware of what you're containing in your thoughts. So this is what I've experienced in my practice and years of meditation. I went on this healing journey of purging and getting rid of the things that weren't serving me, and working with the things that were disturbing me. And in this process, you become a master of this at some time, and you awaken certain abilities. And they're called the Siddhi powers. And it's always good when you're in a practice to know what you're getting into, because when these things happen, you want to be you want to be grounded through them. And by preparing yourself and knowing that these things can happen, then you're very grounded. And when they do happen, you say, oh, okay, this is what I read about. This is real. It's real. It's happening to me. And this does happen when you meditate. And because if you're not prepared for this, you wonder what's going on, and you can become very ungrounded. And so that's the purpose of this this series, is to support people on the spiritual path and who are meditating. And I happened to learn the hard way, because I didn't know all of this until I experienced things. So some of the things that can happen when you have a practice like this and you master this, higher chakras open and the seals in your chakras open, and you can have one chakra become wide open. And it can be your heart chakra, it can be your solar plexus chakra, your soul chakra. One of them can become wide open, and just you're having an intense experience of everything related to that chakra. You can experience spontaneous healing of conditions present in that chakra, and extreme sensitivities. You can develop higher intuition, that is one of your senses becomes very keenly aware, like your kinetic sense. If you can feel things from people, all of a sudden you're feeling other people's stuff, and you run into somebody and you can pick up their energy real quickly. Or if you're a visual person, you might all of a sudden see something, a script, a scene playing out in front of you about something that's going to happen, and then it does happen. Or you may hear things going on. You may have extrasensory hearing, which you can hear a conversation that is miles away, like it's right here. You can hear, if it's pertaining to you, all of a sudden you hear this, boom, you can hear the person talking, you hear the experience as if it's right here. And so these abilities and powers can happen when you start mastering meditation. You can also experience your body becoming very porous and disappearing, and you become one with everything. There are no boundaries between you and everything else. Your mind is your mind. You're in touch with the universal mind, with consciousness. Everything is just one. This huge oneness experience. You can also have the oneness experience with all of humanity, with the people around you, where you start experiencing their things, their issues that they went through, and then you become them momentarily just because you judged them or because you had an opinion about them. And so now all of a sudden you are in an experience in life where you are them and you know it. And it may last for minutes, just enough to clear this thought you had about them or this judgment that you made about them. And you may have episodes of these oneness experiences, healing you and healing your relationships with other people, from judging other people or thinking that you're better than other people, or forming these opinions that are old and not even based on who they really are. Your twisted perception of other people. So this practice is healing on many levels. And let me see. You can start manifesting in different ways, and intuiting. Your intuition becomes very good, where you'll just have this inner knowing all the time, and you can pick that up in different ways. But my intuition, I found, comes through my art. I can just paint things and intuiting future things that are happening. And this also happens with a lot of artists, and if you study art through history, also there's a very good book written about this, where they've proven that artists have intuited the future of science, the evolution of science through their art. Before discoveries happened, the artists were portraying them in their art. So because they're tapping into higher consciousness, and they're using their imagination, and they're using the imagination pathway to tap into higher consciousness, the right brain thinking. So don't be surprised if you start manifesting through your art, and sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between, am I manifesting or am I intuiting this, because there's this communication going on that is profoundly amazing. And I found that when my focus of energy, when I'm painting something, and it's a manifesting focus, when I want to bring this energy in, I have this intention in my mind when I'm painting it. So then I can bring that energy in. And so that would be manifesting. And then the intuiting, I don't always know that. I don't know that I'm doing that until after the event happens, and then I realize, oh, that's what happened here. So I was intuiting this energy, this experience through my art. So that also can happen. And it's there are many Siddhi powers, and it's good to study, to just know these, read these, and have them in the back of your mind. We don't do our practice in order to gain these powers. This is just these come. It's not your focus. You may be doing your practice to connect with the divine, and these can be called numinous experiences, when you experience the divine in your life, when these amazing, profound experiences happen, and you feel like God is with you. These are numinous experiences or mystical experiences by going within, tapping into higher consciousness, the divine within us, our inner guru. The other types of meditation that I do, I'll do another talk about that. I just wanted to do a brief portrayal of my experience with meditation, my healing journey, and so that people who do practice this meditation have a little bit of a background of things that can happen, so they're not so surprised when they do happen, and so that other people can understand when people on a spiritual practice might be hearing voices also, because you're higher. If you tap into the ninth chakra and this blows open, all of a sudden you're having conversations with people that are in different places. They come in and telling you things that you need. I've had people come and tell me, oh, this is what's happening, and yeah, just read this, go in and read, and I go in and I read it, and there it is. So I will just hear, people communicating with me, and that's part of the experience of the meditation journey, of the Siddhi powers and your chakras opening. And the next video I will talk about the guided meditations and how they work in your process of your soul evolution and healing journey. Thanks. I'm Catherine Rackham again from Mystic Soul Ministry, and I'm teaching a workshop series, and it involves meditation and I use all different types of meditation, and so this is background information for this workshop series. It's mysticsoul.org, and I'm the author of Art Therapy for the Mystic Soul. I hope you have a beautiful, inspired day.